If you're thinking about mulching or compost use in a perennial application, so permanent planting, tree and vine crops, most times people look for a composted mulch, particularly in vineyards. In this case, it's been a blend of 70-30. Now the 30 is nitrohumus, which is a compost component. So you could have just the straight mulch if all you're after is weed suppression and water management in particular. Or if your soil's a bit poor and you want to improve it, you can add a proportion of compost and take your pick how much that is. Really relates to the quality of the soil and what sort of improvement you're looking for, and also the age of the vines. Because if you're going to put something like nitrohumus in, which is a nutrient-rich compost, that can impact on the nutrient program. So you need to keep that in mind. Our preference generally is mulch with vine mulch. Because that gives you, if you like, coverage of the sun protection, helps the soil, stops it drying out, gets better moisture retention obviously. If you're going to add a soil conditioner as a component to improve the soil over time, you've sort of got two options. One of them is nitrohumus, which you would add as a part blend. Now this is a 70-30 blend, and we'll dig in a minute so you can see some of the fines. The nitrohumus is particularly of use when the vines are young. So before you actually get them up, before you get the shape of the vines or the trees, if it's something like a stone or a palm fruit. Early in the growth, you're really looking for establishment, either the structure of the vines or a vase shape or an espalier shape for a permanent tree crop, depending what it is. So you're really after the nutrition at that stage. Once you get to an age where you're picking, say in the case of grapes, that's 3 to 4 years, you really want to have perhaps less nutrition, so you don't want that nutrients from the compost really impacting on your nutrient program. So it just depends a little bit what your objectives are. To avoid something like that overdose of nutrition, you can use Green Life mulch and compost as a component with the mulch, with the vine mulch. So the Green Life is a lower nutrient level component. That's really put in there as a finer component for soil improvement over time and for organic matter. So you've got some options there. You can amend with all sorts of other things. So we've certainly had people who have lime amended, or we've had other sort of nutrients that get blended in. So you can really have whatever you want, but consider the fundamentals of what you're looking for. Is it just weed suppression? Is it moisture retention? Do you want it coarse to last as long as you can possibly get out of it? Do you want to actually condition the soil? So there's quite a few things at play. Probably the other thing, just since we're here on the vines, really the objective here was to try and get good water penetration right across the soil profile. So look, you can see, if you can see here, you can see the finer component in this product. So the idea is that fines will actually wash in and condition the soil. Now I'm actually between the drippers here, but you can see that soil is moist. Now if you can see just above us here, it's pretty hard and dry. So the idea of having a mulch cover is that it helps the water move laterally so that it closes the gap between the drippers and you get a good moisture profile. Now again, they've got on a really good rate here, so it's about 50 to 75 mil deep. It's on a bit of a slope, so it's a tiered vineyard, this one. It's a really good growth. Now they won't come back on here for probably 5 or 6 years. So I think they're going to get what they need out of this. This will break down and improve the soil. It's about as much as they're probably going to want over the next 5 or 6 years in terms of improvement. And then after that, you'd do a soil test, see do you want to remulch in isolation without the soil conditioner. If you want a bit more organic matter in the soil, that's something you'll look to do down the track.